Hello, I am Arman, Khodaei, a high-functioning autistic adult, and today's episode is going to deal with change. Change for both for dealing with autism, an autistic individual dealing with autism, and also the changes you need to do if you have a child to help your child cope with change, and also changes for a newer and better future for autism as a whole. Alright, so the first topic, sudden changes. Why does an autistic individual react to change? Well, one of the big reasons about this, I know about myself, is that, just on Tuesday, my mom called me and wanted me to pick up my brother's cell phone and get some stamps. Now, I had 2 hours before to pick that up, but for those whole 2 hours, all I thought about was picking up the stamps, and it drove me crazy, and the cell phone, picking up the cell phone. And it drove me absolutely crazy. I mean, and this was, I've gotten much better at dealing with change, considerably better, but just the thought alone of that, it was an interruption to my flow. I had plans, I was going to write, I was going to do things, and one of the reasons, like maybe a guest comes over, or you take the autistic child somewhere, and they go all berserk. Well, one of the main reasons is because they're in their world, doing their own thing. For instance, maybe they're thinking, if they're into Legos, maybe they're thinking about building a Lego thing. If they're into Pokemon, they're thinking about the Pokemon. Then you come and you mess everything up. As simple as that. And whenever these things happen, it's like, I guess a good way of putting it, it's like you're in a car and then you get in an accident. Yeah, you're going to feel a lot of anxiety. Your car just got totaled. It feels like that. It's like the autistic just got into an accident. It's discombobulating, it's jarring, it's painful. And so, some ways to help the autistic individual dealing with changes. One is to let the autistic individual know, perhaps way ahead of time, as far as possible, that there will be a guest coming over, maybe a week. Keep on telling the autistic individual, if you have a picture of what the guest looks like, show the autistic a picture. Even if you say, oh, it's your grandma, maybe the words don't register, so show a picture of grandma. Say, hey, grandma's coming over. Let it get into their mind, or if you're going somewhere, show a picture of the place. You have to be careful, or else, you're going to have an insane temper tantrum and all hell's going to break loose. So we have to, be careful on that aspect. For me, and now there's the really big changes. For me, I'm very focused on my role. I used to be G.I. Joe, and then that changed, and how that changed was, and so if your child has maybe a destructive behavior or a destructive interest, you have to find a way to challenge that, and the only way to challenge that is to destroy their world, that one thing that they love the most. And let me tell you, it is, like G.I. Joe, it was the love of my life, or after that became Star Wars, the love of my life. And then after that, my girlfriend, and she broke up with me not too long ago, and she was the love of my life. And every time that these changes have happened, my world had to be destroyed to create a newer world. So G.I. Joe, how did that happen? Well, in that case, I was like, had G.I. Joe not been changed, I may never be where I'm at today. And how that happened was, well, I moved in 1994, around the time that actually G.I. Joe was dying out, and a lot of my toys got packed up, some of them even thrown out without me knowing. And then, a new show came out, G.I. Joe Extreme, really bad show, really not G.I. Joe, I hate to say it. G.I. Joe Extreme is not G.I. Joe. And so because of these things, G.I. Joe kind of was gradually killed off for me. And during that time, though, if you're, I know for me being autistic, I have to have a focus. There has to be a love of my life, no matter what. If there isn't love of my life, then I don't know. It's just not possible. And I think that's true for other autistics that are the same way. And so what happened was, around that time, at 5th grade, I had a huge crush on a girl. And the truth of the matter was that I couldn't communicate to her. I was very embarrassed. I didn't want anybody to know about my crush on her. So I meowed to her like a cat. And then the classroom started thinking maybe I have a crush on her, so I started acting like a cat towards everyone in the classroom. I didn't talk to them or have conversations, I just acted like a cat. And then for 5th grade graduation, I got my cat Cutie Pie, and then my cat Cutie Pie became the world, became my world, and it was all that mattered to me. I just thought about my cat. And then one day my cat died, and then my world shattered. Everything, my whole existence was destroyed. And so if an autistic individual, if their world becomes an animal or something, once the animal dies, it's going to be very jarring, very painful, and it's the death. I mean, it was like the death of me, because I became that cat. When I had interest in G.I. Joe, I became G.I. Joe. When I had interest in Star Wars, I became Star Wars. And that is how that works. And then, though my mom brought home a Star Wars figure one day, and for some reason, I said, I love Star Wars now, so I started collecting them. I had a huge collection. But I started to realize, and that this collecting was destroying me in a way. Not destroying me, I mean, it was financially hard. It became my life. I started to realize that, hey, this is all I think about is Star Wars. And so, now, this took a quantum leap on my behalf. I haven't heard of another autistic individual doing it, but it is possible. But I think maybe the autistic individual has to have one of the rules destroyed first before they have the ability to take a rule that they love so much and destroy it themselves. So how I destroyed my rule was, well, I decided to have a crush on this lady. And so I sold off my collection to try to buy something to impress her. It didn't work out. And that is how that led to that. Then I met my previous girlfriend, and then she broke up with me, and now I'm in the process of finding a new incredible focus. And so that's going to happen, and then whatever it is, it's going to consume my life, because I know it is, and that's just the way it works. Alright. And so if your child has an intense focus, remember that this is their life, this is their world. And the only way to change that is to destroy it. And I can't tell you how to do that, and I don't necessarily recommend it, because it's almost like killing someone in a way, in my humble opinion. So now the next aspect is change for the autistic community as well. Now I think what I know is that we as a community, we need to move forward into the future, and how we're going to move forward is we need to reach out to the community more. We need to create more support groups. We need to talk to parents. We need to give talks in schools. And for the future, I see support for autistic individuals over the age of 18. I see there being knowledge given to preschools, elementary schools, everywhere. I see there being regular publications that give greater insight, and that I see there being no confusion. I see parents completely understand their child, and I see great advancements. And so let's work together on this change. Email me. Let's brainstorm this. I see Autism Speaks, Autism Society of America, talking about curing autism, all getting together, the major people behind that, and really moving forward. So let's do that. Let's get started on that. And for the next video, I hope to have a Q&A. This video was supposed to be Q&A, but I didn't get enough questions. So if you have any questions that you want answered in the Q&A, please send them to me, and then the next video will be a special Q&A session where I answer your questions dealing with autism. Thank you, and have a most extra tabulous day.